What's up, guys? Oh, what a boring start to start a video. What's up, guys? Hello. It's me, Parandroid. Anyways, I think that communication is just incredibly important. And I didn't do it right, apparently. Because, yeah, I didn't do it at all, first of all. Most of the stuff I keep for myself. And I don't think that it's right. And I don't even think that it's my nature to be like that. I am a person who is in its best state when he's just freely allowed to talk and to do mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. There are so many videos that I wanted to do where I had the idea, man, that is so important. I should really talk about that with my followers because, everybody knows that there have been issues in the last years of all sorts. I affiliated with the wrong people, like when I reopened NPR with my own money. That was a big mistake, of course, had a detrimental effect, and so forth. But it's not what I want to talk about today or in general. Anyway, at the moment, I'm just like absolutely directly talking to you as if I would talk to my friend. Simple as that. Instead of having any kind of list of stuff that I have to talk to you about. There is always one gazillion things that are going on in my career and in my life, and I don't have the time or the will. You know, I'm a musician and an artist. First and foremost, I'm an artist, creator. All right, this is super clear. Why is that clear? Because there's shit coming out of me all my life in a quite dramatic fashion. And people notice that also incredibly early, like, as early as 7, teachers around me saw that there was like something was going on there. And indeed there was, because I ended up on a university without having finished school. So I was taken into that university for extraordinary talent. People will say, oh my God, he's so full of it. That is just the term that was used, and the mechanic that was used to get me on university was just that. Okay, this guy is super talented. The professor wanted me, but then like he doesn't actually has finished school. He was partying around the world for the past years. That was me. And at 18, when I look at current 18-year olds, they're so innocent. With 18 years old, I already have traveled Europe and we were going to Africa for the second time already on our own, making our own money and traveling. That sounds absurd, but this is just like another fact of my life is that before I became a musician, there was an incredibly wild time where I was a poi player and already an artist, but nothing to do with music. Played a little bit of DJ sets back then, but not that much into music because I wanted to create music, not play music. And there was this super, super, super extremely wild time with my friend Daniel, where we were this infernal or godlike couple of somebody who is like, two very different types of brains that somehow manage something. The outcome was us traveling around and having way too much money suddenly and so forth. But we were an auspicious duo, you can say. And that was that. So yeah, there is so much going on. For example, yesterday I finally released the track Pitchcraft to actually quite good response so far. And last year I released 2 albums. I think many people don't know. Rebirth or under Evernoise and TGL, aka The Giant Leap under Parandroid. I'm I was on tour, as probably maybe some of you know, I don't know. I was on tour in America, in Mexico, and in London, playing my music and conceiving a new project there, actually. And people will say, oh my god, he's completely insane. Now he's like doing his fifth project. This is insanity. This is blasphemy. This is nothing like that. This is me doing the right thing. Without regard for commercialism, for anything like that. It's what visionary art should be. Somebody having a vision and doing it and pulling through, which I always show to do ultimately, even though sometimes, like you look at Evernoise, the precursor exists, the precursor is paratypes. Then, like it takes time to develop those projects. But I released a fucking album under Evernoise. I didn't skimp on anything, or like I was just like putting out straight up an hour of music under a new project that is distinctively different. Anyone who denies that is completely deaf, in my opinion, because it's extremely distinctive. It was its own trip. It was my basically rebirth. The name. It fits so well. Yeah, it does. All right, boys and girls and everybody else. I'm really trying my best. You know that. If you know me, then you know that. And there have been things said about me that are so heinous. And also some parts of, organizers and so forth, they did morally extremely questionable things towards me. Labels stole money from me. Organizers broke contracts and also stole money from me in Germany. And there was a concerted effort where people told me they're going to try to destroy my career. And they tried to do that by basically contacting anyone, any organizer that would book me and tell them lies about me and try to convince them that I am the devil incarnate and so forth, despite the fact that that is complete idiocy. I'm an artist, dedicated my life to art. So all those fantasies are absolutely absurd, and that is its own thing. I do not know. I'm not a PR specialist. I'm an artist. So I can only try to do my best. But we also live in a culture that is completely bonkers, right? Like, there's no merit-based booking anymore. It is like, it's not necessary to be a good musician. And I'm not saying that out of spite. This is objective fact. Nowadays, the skill of social media communication is of superior, you need it more than actually being a fantastic artist or musician. You can be a mediocre or even none at all. Just play the music of other people. The size scene is upside down. And the reason for that is social media, of course. It's like the last 20 years have corroded our culture. And people who do not see that or accept that, my God, like how much of a sheep can one be in that question? I really have to ask myself. Like, if you cannot see the evident impact that social media had on the entire society and in end effect also to a tremendous degree on the psychedelic trance community worldwide, in a negative effect, not in a good effect, not in a good way. Unfortunately, we didn't use it well. There is, of course, networking is great, spread of information is great, but that's not how it's really came out to be. We have a race to the bottom of the brainstem, where idiocy is the rule of the day. It's like that. You see, like the two same people playing non-stop on all parties, and you have to ask yourself why those people are playing, because tastes may differ, but it's like, you ask yourself, bro, there's this insane amount of talent out there which works their ass off, and then it gets harnessed by 5 people. It's questionable, in my opinion. But a lot of great stuff is going on, so I don't want to go on too long about that, to be honest with you, because it's like, yeah, whatever. You just, you have to game the system yourself. That's basically it. And that's it. Deal with it, basically. The last 2.5 months have been incredible in terms of work. Nova Spectrum, the development has been incredible. How much work I put in this project. And also, not only me, also a friend of mine and a friend that helps me at the moment with management that I got to know in California. He also put a tremendous amount of work inside there. And a bunch of other people are also involved, all to varying degrees of participation or contribution, of course. Nova Spectrum, let's talk a little bit about it. Nova Spectrum is many things. It's an audio-visual approach, first of all. So it's about the amalgamation of audio and visual and performance art. And then what else? It's also a community. I want to have it very open. I want it to be a place for very talented people that do not get heard sufficiently. I want it to be a community, a place for fans and creators to come together. And I already wrote 1 hour and 10 minutes of music, more than that, 2 hours of music approximately. But in a seeding phase, you have a certain output, and then you would reduce down from that output, of course. So I maybe created 20 tracks, but 9 of them go to Nova Spectrum project. And a couple of them will be used as intros, outros, in like bridges in albums or something like that, maybe, or in some other fashion. And some of them go to 13 Monkeys because they're too gritty for Nova Spectrum, or not too gritty. That's the wrong term. Different projects of mine have completely different artistic direction. Just listen to 13 Monkeys and then listen to Evernoise or Parandroid, and you have to hear the difference if you love trance music. At least, if you're into that shit, then you would be able to identify that I had completely different visions and that I train my ability to execute creative directions. I cannot understand how people are doing the same for 20 years. I don't get it. It's insane. It is insane. Really. There are some people who are just doing the same track for 20 years, pretty much, like with slight variations. Not calling out names here. But I find that for myself, like not very desirable, let's say. It's not very desirable to just do the same thing. I always pushed for the next thing. This is how I always approached things, is always expansion and development. And recently, I freed up my mind sufficiently to being able to do that in a way where I don't care about genres. You can do that. You can care about genres. And any of my projects can be associated by various persons to various genres, of course. So, like, those things, genres, they exist more for fans and organizers than they should exist for artists per se. Because if your project is not, if it's only one thing, then already it's like a creative failure. Like if you're telling me I wrote a full-on album, I don't know. I have to listen to it, of course, but sounds like a failure. It's like you want to have a ballpark where you want to play, right? Like play in the sense of explore your creativity in that field. So you need formal decisions, right? Your project can't be everything. It can't be formal, informal, with a beat, without a beat. It can't be 0 to 500 BPM. That's not possible, right? Like, in my opinion, because I guess it can. Somebody will just prove me wrong and do that shit. maybe even me, maybe I just gave myself a stupid idea for another project. We're just like, okay, like that is the project to end all genres basically. It's like, okay, fuck that shit. It's going to be like everything. Everything at the same, not at the same time, but somehow at the same time. Get ready, guys. It's like going to be everything. You understand? Anything can happen at any moment or not. That would be a great project. But normally, projects have a formal kind of outline. So you'd say, all right, um, 140 to 150 is the ballpark BPM wise, the speed BPM wise. And then trance music is another ballpark. It's a big ballpark. Trance music incorporates anything from commercial trance to psytrance to everything basically. So you can even dump it more down. Like, okay, 4/4, whatever you want to create your ballpark with, or the size of your ballpark can vary. You can say 140 to 160, you can say 120 to 135, you can say only 128. Although I don't know. Only one, even sticking to just one BPM kind of makes me nuts. So Nova Spectrum, for example, 145 to 150, lots of 150s. I don't know, like this. I like the speed. Yeah, that was very inconcise in terms of a description of Nova Spectrum. If you want to learn more about that project, there is already a social media set up. There's currently a Discord set up on the Parandroid Discord for Nova Spectrum, but we will probably shift that now, maybe even tomorrow in our next joint working session, because tomorrow there is a joint working session with Team America and Team India, basically, where we go online and we work actively on things. Basically, pretty much all the content that has been generated, it needs to be distributed. I'm really trying to revolutionize it with this one, having a complete different approach by it's a solo project, but it's not a solo project. First of all, no, it's not a solo project. There's many people involved, and since there is this thing with performance art and audiovisual stuff, which I am both good in. I was a performer and I studied art, so But on the other hand, I was dedicating my life to music then, so I need the expertise of other people. That's why I'm working with a bunch of people from all over the world. I can tell you a couple of places: America, India, Iran, Finland, Mexico, lots of places where people are collaborating with me or consulting with me and so forth. So it's an exciting project, and I can't wait to put more work into it and to have more eyeballs on it if we can achieve that. And I believe in this vision, that's why I'm doing it, right? Like, it's something that I am dreaming about all my life. I didn't just go to Mexico and took some horse tranquilizer or something and ended up like, okay, wow, now I'm going. I'm working on this since 20 years. This is the reality. This is why I could work also so quickly, but also because of Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, and his concept of seeding and crafting and so forth. That helped a lot. I say it again and again and again. Read that book if you are a creative. It's completely bonkers to not read that book if you're a creative, because it is the book. I didn't finish it yet. God damn it. I'm zipping it like a fine wine, all right? So I'm zipping it like a fine wine. Taking it slow. Reading it when I need it, basically. Because anyway, 90% is just like a confirmation and 10% is that cherry on top. 90% of that book, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, is just like, all right, yeah, I said that 500 million times to my students, to my peers, and so forth, and now I can read it in a book. Quite nice. Thanks, Rick Rubin, for writing it down for me. I don't know. Like, and then there is the 10% of Rick Rubin's like special sauce input. God damn it, camera. And that really makes it special. And also the intrinsic motivation to do something good. There is no commercial thinking behind that, and it's so refreshing. It's why people love that book so much, and why it is genuinely helpful to people, is that there is not this hyper commercialistic kind of, it needs to sell this and this, it needs to be a New York Times bestseller. It became all that, funnily, by denying everything about that. If you know what I mean. It's like, fuck all that shit. I want to do something really good and give something back to the universe. This is, by the way, also my intrinsic motivation as an artist. And this is what Rick Rubin did. It's just like, all right, I had a fulfilled life. I was very lucky to do what I do, to work with so many incredibly talented individuals and help their visions come to life. And now it's time to create the essence of my experience, distill it down into a beautiful book that is full of love and compassion. And that's it. Love, truth, compassion. This is what this book screams at you all the time. From its design to the writing style, everything. Rick Rubin, even talking about Rick Rubin gets my eyes wet, all right? This man is fucking Yoda for musicians and creatives. Not musicians, for creatives, for everybody. He's fucking Master Yoda. If you want to become a Jedi, go for it, get that book. For sure. I'm promoting him so much better than I do my own shit. God damn it. That is insane. TGL is out, an album that I worked on quite a long time during a hard period in my life, during a tough period of my life, where I realized that the people that I worked with in the past were not good people. That was a tough realization. When you think you can sort of trust people and that you did a lot of work with them, you know, there were various stories. What I'm now referring to is actually label adjacent. It's not, you know, it's about a label from Germany that I worked with for quite a time, and very disappointing, this experience. Horrible experience. It's unfortunate that the German scene is, and this is not even me saying that, this is something that I heard from so many people, even from other international artists. It's almost mafia-like as it is run at the moment here. And it's not having a great outcome. The German psytrance culture was never in as bad of a shape as it is now, in my opinion. It's just not good. And again, if you deny that, then please look up how festivals looked. Look back at how shit was when shit was good, and compare it to what you have right now. It's quite pathetic. And then when you think about who these people are and what they did to me, various people of the German culture had massive transgressions into different directions, from, as I said, stealing money to all kinds of other things, derogatory things, and also, you know, morally questionable behavior. If you book a public person and then a random person comes and contacts you and tells you lies about that person, that's not a valid reason for cancellation of contracts, by the way. Just saying. And this is all illegal behavior. Those people, they know that artists are not able to fight back in most instances because they don't have good protection in those cases, and lawyers are incredibly expensive. And then on top of it, it's often about minuscule amounts of money in the bigger sense, but then for the artists themselves, this small amount of money might be very important for them to buy fucking food and pay their rent, right? And the illusion that the labels or the people who hold money and power in their hand in the psychedelic trance culture are the good ones and the artists are the bad ones is another indicator of how upside down this world is, that people really believe that. There are people who are busting their balls every day putting full dedication and love into something. And then there are people who are extracting this money and basically are, don't want to say it, but they are in questionable trades, yeah, so stuff like that. And they are extracting the money, and then the public is so misguided that they believe that the people with the money are the good ones and the artists are the bad ones. Yeah, the artists are typically so goddamn evil, you know. There's also a thing called separating the artists from the art. It's a concept that unfortunately didn't gain favorability in recent years. I have the feeling. And that also plays into the thing that there is no merit-based booking anymore, at least not in our culture. You can be as good as what, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how good you are. And you will not get booked. But yeah, that's that. What else is going on? Many things, as I said. There are so many things going on. I think that's a good length for a first little podcast from my side. This is a podcast that I might put out as audio because it should have decent quality audio. And I put it on YouTube as well for people to listen there. Listen, guys. I know that some of the things that I said will piss some people off, all right? But I can't live my life like that. I have to speak truth, and I have to be unafraid in talking to you, and cannot react or, style my life according to a toxic minority in our culture. Can't do it. I can't just do it. I dedicated my life to this, so, I can't let them take over my career or my life. Just cannot let it happen. I'm so sorry for those guys who are really behind it and really tried their best to demotivate me, to destroy my reputation and so forth. It's just not working because I'm doing this out of love. Therefore I won't stop. And there will be always people understanding me and supporting me out of that reason. They know how much I gave my life to this and so forth. I hope that you're having a great day. Don't forget that you are beautiful and that you deserve to be loved. That's very important. And I feel already a little bit better. I'm sorry, there's like a mixed bag, right? Like in this, when I'm talking freely, unscripted, without bullet points, without anything, just me talking to you honestly, all right? Then this is the case. There is a lot of good and some bad. This is the reality. Nobody else will give you that, I guess, because people just want to put out, everything is great, da 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 da. Let's take some horse tranquilizer. I'm not that, all right? I'm a dedicated individual who's sitting in his studio all his life and traveling all the world all his life, doing his job diligently and with full-on dedication. That's the reason why I got invited all over the world in the first place. That was and is still well-deserved. Thanks for listening or watching. And let me know if you enjoyed that or if you just want the sugar-coated version of, hey guys, here's my new release. What's up? Check out this new merch. There's new merch, by the way. Pretty killer one. Very, very killer one. If you like black stuff, which I certainly do. It's insane how much black clothes I have. There is new merchandise. It's available on audionerds.net. It's all limited as all my merchandise is. There's only 100 pieces available. They look really, 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 really cool this time. Very, very cool stuff. So check it out if you want to support me in any way, shape, or form. There's also the Parandroid Patreon. I have to revamp it. I have to revamp the tiers and everything. It will be a much more simple affair. Because I can't properly, full-time take care of it. So it will be for people that want to support me and that are, okay with sometimes I might have either a tour or something going on, and then I can't be fully there, and so drops come infrequently. So less promises and more simple structure there. I want to put that back up, and yeah, that's that. Thank you so much for listening. One more last time. Thanks for all the people that still believe in me and still support me, and did so also over the last year. The last year was freaking amazing. God damn it, was so cool to travel in Asia and Mexico and America, and also the times in the studio, although they were insane because I worked so much, but it was beautiful. Thanks for all of those people. It really means the world to me to have you as my friends and as people who really understand me, because I need you. I need people that understand who I am and don't believe in that bizarre lie that is out there about me that was created somewhat intentionally by some people. And in some cases also, obviously I did mistakes, but I'm completely entitled to do so. I don't know why I have to say that all over again, but I guess it is like that. Have a wonderful day. I see you next time.